In today's episode, we've got reselling news, a quick what sold on eBay recap, and a triple header business update. What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to another episode of Galaxy CDs, Rocks, and Flips. If this is your first time finding the channel, my name is Ryan, and I am a full-time reseller, part-time YouTuber, and podcaster working out of my home here in the Batcave, and this channel is all about the flip life. In today's episode, like I said, we're going to do a pretty quick what sold on eBay update with a really nice flip of the week again, so stay tuned for that. We've got a triple header. It's weekend, month end, year end time here at the Galaxy. So we'll recap the year that was 2020 with my business. But first,
news updates.
let's talk real quick about some news. It's still kind of that post-holiday hangover time, so there's not a ton of stuff out there this week. Amazon announced this is part of their quest for global domination. It's not necessarily reselling related, but they announced that they are going to acquire the podcast startup Wondery. If you've been following, if you're into podcasting at all, Amazon and Spotify are essentially competing against each other to gobble up other podcasting networks and shows. So you've seen exclusive deals signed over the last few months from both parties as they attempt to figure out a way to kind of dominate the podcasting space and to maybe knock Apple Podcasts off that throne a little bit. It's a very competitive field, and Amazon is acquiring yet another startup, this time grabbing Wondery. If you use Wondery, it will not affect your ability to listen to podcasts on that network. It is going to allow them to add some additional kind of premium content to their network, and obviously with the backing of Amazon to do some other things. Moving on to eBay. If you're part of the eBay partner program, they continue to tweak and change that program, not necessarily always for the better. There's an article on e-commerce bytes. A couple of days ago, eBay sums up changes to affiliate marketing. We've made great improvements to our program that built upon the launch of our new platform in 2019. Some of the 2020 improvements included faster reporting, a new simplified global rate card, a new modern data feeds platform, improved link generator with URL shortener and QR code options. I love that, by the way. New and improved sales and events widgets to help you find the most relevant sales and deal events, and a new deal API allowing you to search for and retrieve details about eBay deals and events. However, some of the changes were unpopular with some affiliates, including a cut to loyalty affiliate rates and another change that affiliates interpreted as placing limits on certain payouts. In addition, in June, they announced they were killing the EPN dynamic feed generator, which was a popular tool that did not require the use of APIs. Probably the biggest thing with the changes that were made for last year with this program was starting in mid-June, you could, if you were a seller on eBay and you used an affiliate link to sell your own item, you essentially ended up with a commission-free sale because you got credit back for all of your final value fees. I've done this a couple of times. I don't have a big Facebook following, so I'm not getting a ton of action on that. But if you sell something through your store that was linked from your affiliate link, you can get it essentially commission-free. So if you're not on the eBay partner program, you might want to take a look at that. It's actually a pretty slick program. I talked about the other day that I have 11 revenue streams, and they're not all that big. I'm making about $5 a month at this point. But again, I don't have a huge social following. I don't have a Facebook page for my eBay business. I've got essentially my YouTube channel and an Instagram account. I got 400 odd subscribers on YouTube and 160 something on Instagram. So it's not like I've got thousands of people following me. But if you do and you use this, I think there's an opportunity there to make and or save a fairly significant amount of money. So definitely check that out. I will link, of course, to all of these in the show notes and the video description below. Lastly, eBay has finally put out a tutorial on how to issue refunds on managed payments. Man, you would think that would be something they would have done a long time ago. I actually put one out in October, and they have finally gotten around to doing it. I think because of the crush of refund potential and refunds that needed to be done during the Christmas season because of all the delays and lost packages. So there is now an official YouTube tutorial on how to process a refund on managed payments. So if you're still unsure and my video didn't help you, that makes me sad, actually. You can go to eBay and look at their tutorial on how to do that. Speaking of that, I have had now one case where I did provide a refund to a customer, and I sent the customer an email and I said, as per our previous discussion, this item has now been lost for 30 days. I'm going to go ahead and provide you a refund. As soon as I do this, I'm sure the item will begin moving and you'll have it within 3 or 4 days. And that is exactly what happened. Now, of course, the guy has the stuff and he's ignoring my emails. People are just, this is a family-friendly program, so I won't say what I'm really thinking. It's a $12 item, so it's not like it's breaking the bank. It's just the principle of the thing that I've communicated with this customer at every step along the way. I told him exactly what I was going to do. I did what I said, and he won't even respond. So let me know what kind of response you're having from your customers, that you're still dealing with those ongoing USPS issues. But that's kind of where I'm at. And again, there's a new tutorial up on eBay. With that, we're going to take a quick break for those of you on the podcast for a sponsor message, and we will be right back with a what sold on eBay, but first a business recap. Stay tuned. All right, so let's get into this business recap business. It was the end of, obviously, a week. It was the end of the month of December, and it was the end, thankfully, of 2020. So I've got 3 business recaps. I'm going to try to go through it reasonably quickly so we don't spend all day talking about numbers. It is, obviously, it's something that's important. It's how you pay your bills. It's how you invest in new inventory. It's how you pay your taxes. So it is important to do, and it's important. I've talked about in numerous videos and podcasts before about how important it is for you to know your numbers, but I don't want to spend all day talking about them. And I'm sure you don't want to spend all day listening to them. So for the week ending January 2nd, we'll start, of course, with listings. It was another holiday week, but I did manage to get 85 listings in. I'm not going to get anywhere near that number this week, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. Sales for the week, I mentioned in last week's episode that the first 3 days of last week were better than the entire previous week. That trend held fairly true throughout the week. Total sales came in at $2,045.18. So a really, really strong week. Cost of goods sold for the week, just $38.22, leaving me with a gross profit of 98.13%. I think that's the first time I've been in the 98s. So just remarkable. $2,006.96. Operating expenses for the week totaled $631.10. Most of it was eBay fees and shipping charges. Net profit for the week, 67.27%. Just massive, massive, massive number. $1,375.86. So a really, really strong week to end 2020 and kick off 2021. Very pleased with that all and all. This week, and again, we'll talk about this in an upcoming episode, is not going to be as pretty, but it's, let's just say it's an investment in the future. December, my best month ever, which is kind of what I expected. I didn't, the type of stuff I sell, and I've talked about this before, is not necessarily stuff that is big Christmas items. I'm not selling clothing, toys, video games, anything new. So I don't necessarily expect my business to have the big jump that some resellers do, but I did get a pretty nice bump, and it was my best month probably ever, I would say. For the month of December, total sales came in at $77.44 and 37 cents. Cost of goods sold $228.01, leaving me with a gross profit of 97.06% or $7,516.36. Total operating expenses for the month, $31.48 and 12 cents. Like I talked about last week, I did kind of load in some extra expenses into December for stuff that I will obviously be using in 2021 so that I could get a little bit of a tax write-off for my expenses. So it was a little higher than probably it would have normally warranted, but for good reason. Net profit for the month, 56.41%, so well over the 50% that I normally try to achieve, $4,368.24. So really, really solid December. I'm very pleased with that. Looking forward to good things going into 2021 for the year 2020. So to kind of set this up, I've talked about this before. My cost structure as a single male with basically a house payment and a car payment and the normal utilities and food is pretty low. My cost of living is extraordinarily low. So and I've talked about this before as well, what I define as success for me can be very different from what you may define as success for yourself. When I walked into 2020, I had two numbers in mind. I had like the worst case scenario. What do I have to do to be able to survive? And that number was about $24,000 net profit before taxes. My goal, as I've talked about regularly on this show, was to net $100 a day, 365 days a year. So 36.5 was kind of the target I had in mind, including all revenue streams. So how did it turn out? It turned out pretty good. Sales, $68,218.90. That's gross sales for the year, just a little over 68 grand. Cost of goods sold, just $4,006.21, leaving me with a gross profit of 94.13%. The reason that is lower, if you've been following along for the last probably 6 months, those numbers have typically been 95, 96, 97%. That's because I had two enormous buys in the second half of the year where the cost of goods sold was just super, super low. So this number represents the first half of the year where I did not have those things in my inventory and my average cost of goods sold was a little bit higher. Gross profit for the year, $64,212.69. Operating expenses total for the year, $30,742.74. That does include a lot of kind of startup equipment because I was still fairly new. So there are things like label printers and some of the equipment that I use for doing this podcast and the YouTube shows. So a lot of that stuff is in my expenses for 2020 that will not be repeat expenses for 2021. So I expect my operating expenses this year theoretically to be a little bit lower from that standpoint, although I am making some other investments. Like I said, I keep teasing you with this, that we're going to get into in the next week or so, that hopefully will grow the business. So for the year, net profit, 49.06%. So real close to the target, $33,469.95. When I include in kind of other revenue streams that are not included in my actual business profit and loss, my total net income before taxes for the year was $37,288. So just a little bit ahead of target. I was hoping for 36.5. I knew I could live on about 24. I did 37.2 and some change. So all in all, I'm going to call that a very, very successful year. So I'm hopeful that 2021, that trend will continue. And now let's talk about what sold on eBay. A lot of the big items that contributed to the $2,000 total were covered in last week. So I've only got, I think, half a dozen things today to go over, but a really good flip of the week again. First up, Rutherford B. Hayes and His America. This is part of a series of biographies on kind of older U.S. presidents. This came from the big 2,500 book lot. So my cost of goods sold on this is 25 whole cents. It sold for $24 with free shipping on a best offer. I think I had it listed for either $27 or $29.99. Another book, another old book from 1894, Uncle Tom's Cabin from Harriet Beecher Stowe. This was part of the American Classics series. It was kind of a leather-bound edition of this book in actually pretty good shape. The pages were a little bit tanned along the edges, and there was a little bit of staining on the cover. But for a book that is that old, it was in pretty good shape. This went for $26.24. I had it listed, and I sent out a best offer for 15% off, and someone overseas actually snapped this up in the global shipping program. 3 more books. This was a set from Ernest Hemingway, was Farewell to Arms, For Whom the Bell Tolls and the Sun Also Rises. Really nice package. This was part of an estate sale. I own these for about 50 cents a piece. The 3 of them went for $35.99 on a sale. I had them listed for $44.99, and they were running last month for 20% off. Someone bought these on the last day of the promotion. Another book. It was a big week for books, actually. Freedom Betrayed, Herbert Hoover's Secret History of the Second World War. This went for full price, $37.99. Again, a fairly rare book. There were only a couple of these listed, so this commanded pretty decent money. Hardcover with dust jacket, again, out of the big lot of $2,500, so my cost of goods sold, 25 cents. Another old book from that lot. This is from 1865. It's a kind of a local book to the Cincinnati area, but it was sold to someone actually in Israel. Fillmore's Harp of Zion, a book of church music, again, from 1865 from the R.W. Carroll Company. I actually have a couple of these, but this one was in really, really good shape. The other one's pretty ratty. It's not going to command anywhere near this kind of money. I had this listed for $49.99 or best offer. Got an offer of $40 plus shipping. Again, sold through the global shipping program. So I sent this down to Kentucky, and it's on its way to its final destination. And now, the flip of the week. This is not a book. It's a CD. And again, it's out of that big lot of CDs that I talk about every single week. I own this thing for about 3.5 cents. It's a really rare, I believe these guys were from the Columbus, Ohio area. It's an underground hip hop album. Taipan, The Rise, The Fall, The Rise. From 1995, this thing went for $260 plus shipping. The customer paid for priority shipping. Really, really nice sale. Again, from 3.5 cents to $260 on a best offer. I had this listed for, I think, $349 or best offer. I had received a couple of offers in the past in the sub $200 range, which I turned down, trying to hold out for a little more money. This offer came up late last week at $260, and I'm like, you know what? That's plenty. So another really, really nice flip. This was one of the last items that I sold actually for 2020. So again, a super nice way to close out the year. We are on now to 2021 and hopefully bigger and better things for everyone. So thank you, as always, for spending a little bit of your time here with me talking about my business. I really appreciate it. If this is the kind of content that you like, please do me a favor and smack that thumbs up button. Let YouTube know that this was an okay video. I appreciate you always stopping by. Share this with your friends. If you have other reselling friends or other YouTube friends that you think would enjoy this content, please feel free to share it out there in the world. And now it's time to sell. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Thanks for spending a little time with Galaxy CDs, Rocks, and Flips. If you'd like to spend a little more time, there's another video in the upper right-hand corner. If you'd like to spend a lot more time, you can subscribe down below.